Good morning and welcome. It's July 3rd, one day before we celebrate our country being free, our independence. Something that our forefathers, the people before us, fought for us and fought for us to have freedom in the United States. Excuse me. I'm a water person, so a lot of times my salt water gets to my nasal. Uh, yeah, I'm broadcasting live from the West Coast of California, a place called Surf City, USA. I'm 3 blocks from the beach, and all my life has been nothing devoted to the ocean. Uh, it's been a very wonderful experience. But unfortunately, we're here to help you with the unfortunate experiences, something called CPS. Welcome to Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. I'm on twice a day. In the morning, Fight CPS with Bob Pace from 10 o'clock weekdays and 8 o'clock in the morning weekends. Then at nighttime, it's Fight CPS Stop Taking Our Children at 7 o'clock p.m. every day of the week, all 7 days. Those times are Pacific Standard Time. That's the West Coast of California. If you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. So at night, it's 10 o'clock your time, p.m. And during the daytime, during the weekdays, it's 1 p.m. your time. And on the weekends, it's 11 a.m. in the morning. So you have lots of different times to pick a time to watch and to listen and to understand. Now, I call the CPS the Child Protection System. It's found in every county. Like in North Carolina, there are 100 counties that have CPS, but each of them are different. That's why it's so hard to say all these different names, like the Department of Children and Family Services, or the Department of Children's Services, or the Cabinet, or the Child Protection Services. So I just say CPS, the Child Protection System. That's what I call. And pretty much everybody does understand what CPS is, especially if you've been caught up in it, and I too. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father and a husband. I have 42 years of marriage, and I have helped raise 6 children. 3 are grown-up adults with their own families, and 3 are my youngies. They were very young at the time I was involved in CPS, but I was very old, like a dinosaur. I lost my forever job through no fault of my own in 2010. And in 7 years, I lost my home, my forever home, because I couldn't afford to keep paying the mortgage without a good job. And apparently, I found out at age 60, after working for 45 years, they don't like old dinosaurs working for them. I don't understand that because we have Bernie Sanders, who's 89 years old, still working in Congress. We had President Biden, he was 88, if I'm not mistaken, still president. We have a young president, Donald Trump, who's 79. So I'm only 75. Why is that considered old? I can still paddle a surfboard and catch a wave. I can still roll on a skateboard or ride a bicycle. I can still go out there and sail a Hobie Cat and ride waves on it. So I don't understand why they think I'm too old. I know in the Philippines, if you're over the age of 55, you have to retire. You cannot work in the Philippines past the age of 55. It's a beautiful place, the Philippines. I've been there. I've been to a lot of countries. I've been to I would say probably over 25 countries. Some of them 25 times. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about you and to help you. You found the right place. You found me on Facebook and you came here. I'm broadcasting on StreamYard and I'm using YouTube to watch. Now, CPS, a lot of you, including me, have found rogue CPS. What I mean by that is bad CPS. They're bad CPS. They're terrible to try to navigate. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need a professional doctor. Well, you need a professional attorney. And I don't mean the court-appointed attorney or the public defenders. CPS hopes you take them because they'll ruin your lives. They won't fight for your case. They're not trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. There's no incentive. They're case loaded with 30 or 100 clients. They don't have time to talk outside of the courtroom. You're lucky if they show up at your hearing. So you need a real professional. That's my rule number one. And that professional is someone that has to be trained in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those are the three laws. If they don't have it, you're wasting your time. Furthermore, they have to have fought CPS and gotten children home. And what makes it a good plus with them is if they have done lawsuits, civil lawsuits against CPS for, breaking your constitutional rights or your civil rights, like committing perjury in court, which my social worker did. But they're also a bad sign of social workers because they can retaliate. My social worker did. My social worker encouraged, along with her CASA, to divorce her parents. There's no attempt at all. There was not one single meeting between me and my daughter to work out the difference or find out what was bothering her. None whatsoever. Their idea of family reunification was say, well, here's Mr. Pace, a wealthy man. Let's see if we can break him. I lost my $2 million home to CPS. It cost me over $350,000 to fight to get my two boys back. It was expensive. I hired the best. And the best is Vincent W. Davis. His picture is on the upper right-hand side of your screen. And he has a lot to offer. Now, if you're living in LA County in California, his retainers are approximately $5,000. His honor rate is $500. That may sound a lot, and it is a lot to a lot of people that may be low income. That's what we all have in common. Now, I've talked to 23 countries, including the United States, and over 2,100 people from around the world. And every state I've talked to, some of them 3 or 4 from a state. Now, this is interactive podcast. What that means is that you can text a message right now. To text a message, all you do is make a question or a comment about CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, your state and country. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from the beginning to where you're at, and I'll try to help you. Now, some of the countries that we've have talked to have been Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, up in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and Libya. I'm not Libya, Liberia. No, Libya. Yeah, Libya. And then over to Africa, the continent of Africa has been Liberia, and then it's been Sudan and Republic of Congo, then Rwanda, then Mozambique, and then several of the provinces in South Africa. Then up to Europe, it's been United Kingdom, England, Scotland, and Wales, and then Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, it's been Canada and several of its provinces. Then it's been the United States and all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. Then south of border is in Mexico. And then further south in South America, north of Brazil on the east coast of Grenada. Then across the South Pacific, it's New Zealand. And then the land down under, Australia and several of its states. So those places are experiencing the same thing you are. Some are in really bad shape. I'm here to help anybody that has a problem with CPS, no matter where you're from. And I'll dedicate my time to help you. Recently, I helped a couple in Santa Clarita. That's in California. They're being charged by the Department of Children and Family Services in LA County. They told they were neglecting their children medically, or one child. What had happened, the child had reported stomach pains on the left side of her abdomen. The good parents took him to their pediatrician, who tried to figure out what it was, but he said, you need to go to the hospital. So they found a reputable hospital, went to emergency room, and they only did a sonogram, and they thought it was the appendix. But apparently this hospital, its doctors, its professionals didn't know about appendix, because the appendix is on the right side, the pains were on the left side. And the parents weren't too sure that the child should have her appendix removed, so they wanted a second opinion. So they went to the second hospital, and they too said it was the appendix. And there had to be a social worker that worked for CPS there. She listened in, eavesdropped, and she said, you better do what the doctor tells you, take the appendix out. Now here's the social worker ordering the parents who weren't still sure. So they went ahead and had the appendix removed. Later that night, the child still was in pain, and they went back to the hospital. The third emergency hospital did x-rays, and they found gallstones. It was their gallbladder. Didn't have to be removed. The gallstones will pass out. They will dissolve. But they did an x-ray, and that's how they found it. So there it is. Hospitals are not complete with it. And, we went and looked up appendix, and there we learned all about appendix. It was easy on the internet. We learned about gallbladder, gallstones, and so forth. Meanwhile, they had a hearing because a social worker wanted to charge them with neglect. And that was in a couple days. And so I told these parents, you need to get an attorney. But if you can't get one, you need to ask for a continuance. So they went, and on a short notice, it was hard. They had one attorney that wanted to talk to him. Vincent was busy. So they went to court and asked the judge for a 30-day continuance to get an attorney. Judge looked at him and says, not going to give you 1 day. I'll give you Thursday. And on Friday was the continuance of their court hearing. So the parents came back to me, and we found an attorney, and they showed up Friday, to the horror of the judge's face, that these parents could get an attorney so quick. And that attorney tore into the plaintiff lawyers and tore into CPS. And that child was not taken by the court or CPS. And in fact, the case was going to be dropped. That was a good attorney, money well worth spent. And I'm telling you, I do help on here. I have helped lots of people. I've helped out a mother in South Africa named Laika, who had a terrible, terrible experience. The man of her dreams she marries. They have their honeymoon and they create a child out of their honeymoon. But she didn't know he was a pedophile. And he started playing with their daughter and she caught him. But no one believes her. The man is straight. They have a different kind of legal system there, and CPS is very corrupt there because the husband is a higher up in the government, and so they do a lot of favoritism. Anyway, she's been traumatic. She's 40 years old. That's her first marriage, and it was love for her. But this guy was evil. He was deceptive. So I'm telling you, I do help on here, and it's CPS is bad. If you don't think that is bad, think about these social workers that worked for 35 years in Prescott, Arizona. They decided to buy pink T-shirts, not to support breast care awareness, but to stencil white lettering on the front and the back. And on the front it said professional child kidnappers. And on the back they said, parents, you know where your children are at. That was the messages that they were conveying. And they paraded around to every big store around. Kmart, Walmart, Costco, Sam's, Target, Best Buys, Sears, May Company, J.C. Penney's. I could go on. And they did that, and then suddenly too many people called in, and the city immediately fired them, along with the director of the organization. Left with one person left, a guy, to handle all the child abuse cases. So I'm telling you, they are corrupt. This social worker that was mine and the CASA brainwashed my daughter at 12, thinking that she could divorce her mom and dad and have a beautiful life with a foster care parents. That's the sad part about it. The social worker and the CASA told our daughter that you can divorce the parents and the family at age 12. It's legal in California. It's sad, but it should not be the case. And on top of that, she changed her name. She was told to change her name, so she removed a beautiful name. Her middle name was Hanalei, a place I love in Kauai. It's a beautiful place. It's named for a beautiful daughter. She is also told to change her birth certificate and seal it. In fact, she just sealed it. And she got a new birth certificate. And she put the foster parents as the mother and father. That's wrong. And it's, again, a 12-year-old does not know how to do all these things. That came from a CASA. That is supposed to be a court-appointed social person that can help them through their time of in CPS. It's not everybody. The mother and father and children are all given a CASA reps. And people, I tell them, don't listen to them. Don't talk to them. They're bad news. They're ears for CPS. So not only did she change her birth certificate, a new one, she also got a second Social Security card and was double dipping out of my Social Security retirement. She's using her first Social Security card and her second one and getting twice the amount that I used to get that now the adopted parents are going to get. They're taken care of. They're very well to do foster care. They have all the money in the world. And they're getting double dip. It's ridiculous. I could have called social services and Social Security and tell that social service allowed my daughter a second card. It's terrible. It's terrible. These people are really, really, really bad. Now, Another way to interact on this live stream is to be a guest. Now, I've already told you my times. All you pick is one of my 14 shows. You just tell Grace, who's my show producer, and email her at grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will gladly help you with a link to get onto my show. I can take 9 of you with me and make 10 people, and you can all have a voice and be able to be seen and talk to one another and help each other and help people in the room. Help people in the room. So email her, say you want to be on Bob's Sunday night show or Bob's Friday morning show or Bob's Tuesday night show. You just pick one day of the week and one time, morning or evening. That's all you do. And she'll send you the link and you copy and paste it in your browser. And if you get knocked off, do it again. That link's still good. Also, there's certain rules she'll tell you that you have to abide by, like there's no smoking or eating on the live stream. We do not use profanity or the names of children, judges, or social workers. And that's all there is. That's all there is. She'll help you with your camera and your voice. You know, she's computer savvy. She's computer savvy. Now, another way to interact is to call me. You can call me at 626-698-0990. That will reach my phone. My phone's on, and you can call on that phone. So there's my number, and I'm open for anybody to call. We got someone that came into the room, I think. Dorothy Cook. Wow. So glad to hear from you, Dorothy Cook. Dorothy Cook is a wonderful mother from North Carolina who's helped me in this room stating things and help work with Christina on helping others. She is a real person and real helpful. But she too had a bad CPS case. Anyway, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. What is the latest news? What is the latest news? Do you have contact with your daughter, Mr. Bob? No. In a roundabout way, I'm lucky because I encourage my sons, even though my 2 sons were divorced from her. She divorced the whole family. They do stay in touch a little bit. They do see each other, but she's been poisoned by the family, and she has not talked to me. She's 22 years old. She was 12 years old. I'll never forget on May 2nd in 2015 to be holding her and tell her, it's all right. It's all right. Those were my last words with her. They're my last time with her. My wife got to see her in a couple visits, but they started cracking down on her and shut down the visits. It's really sad what the Child Protection System did, CPS, in Orange County, California. They're corrupt. The director of CPS works out of an office that looks like the Taj Mahal of India or the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. That's how lush his office is. That's where the money's spent. He's very corrupt. I fought with him for a year with emails and tried to handle my case, but it got worse and worse. So I broke down and finally got an attorney, a real attorney. I got Mr. Davis. But I had to sell my house, my forever home, a home that I worked 45 years for. That is a very sad thing. So I miss my daughter a lot. I prayed to her every time, every night, every time. You're right, Dorothy. Double dipping is a crime. But if I call Social Security and report that they're doing so, I don't know what I mean. No, it's not the norm, but see, they don't know it. They have two different names and two different Social Security, but all goes to the same address. It goes to the foster care people. It's about $2,000 that they're ripping off from Social Security, actually, for me and stuff. I want to say hello to Aaron. It is good morning for me on the West Coast. I know it's the afternoon for the East Coast. So you must be from the East Coast, Aaron. And Aaron's a really special name. That's one of my daughters. That's my firstborn. And I've been out of touch with her since age 3. I've had so many different tragedies. Even though I've had 42 years of marriage, I had 10 years with my first wife and 32 with my second wife. And my daughter, my first marriage, my wife, who I still don't know today, said you'll never see your daughter again. She's 36 now. I've not seen her since she's 3. Her last birthday was May 2nd. May 2nd is really strange because that's the last day I saw my 12-year-old. And May 2nd was the last time when I celebrated her 3rd birthday. The last time I saw my 3-year-old. She's 36 now, and my 12-year-old's 22. So Aaron's a really special name to me. And what can I do for you, Aaron? Where are you located, and do you have a story to say or a question to ask? There's a new person called Nadir Seguencia. Uh, you must be from another one of the countries with a name like that. I don't know what country you're from, but I'd love to know where you're from. You mentioned that the CPS are like butchers. Yes, they are. They're bad. They're bad worldwide. They get away with it. I agree with you, Nadir. Dorothy says had to sell his house for yeah. That's true. That's true. I've done so much. I'm still fighting them. I've been fighting them for 15 years. It's really, really bad. Oh, you're from Tennessee, Aaron. Well, glad to meet you, Ted. And Aaron, as I say, Aaron's a real special name to me. What was your story about, Aaron? How can I help you? Oh my God. That is so freaky. 36. That's the same age. But my daughter is born May 2nd, and you're born June 2nd. That is freaky. That is so freaky, Aaron. You're the same age as my firstborn. I am so freaked by that. Wow. I cannot believe I met another Aaron who is 30 days apart from my firstborn, who's the same age. Wow. Well, I want you, Aaron. I'm very partial to the name Aaron, and so I loved you the start. The best place to start is from the knock at the door or the phone call or the meeting at their office, wherever it started, wherever it started. Dorothy says, uh, yes, they are mandated reporters. There's also the layman reporting. There are two kinds of reporters: mandated reporters, which are your health professionals, doctors, and nurses. They're your school teachers, your counselors, administrators. There's your firemen and your policemen and caregivers. All those have a job working with children. They're required by law to report neglect or abuse. They've taken classes and they're supposed to. The other kind of reporters are the layperson. They can be children, they can be a neighbor, they can be friends, acquaintances, the guy works at the store, even your family members, such as in my case, it was my in laws and their family that reported false claims against me and my wife. My wife's mother, father, three sisters, and a brother would call him once a week for 5 years and make up stories that weren't true. And I met with the social workers and showed them how they were not true. That went on for 5 years till they got frustrated. So they called the police to follow me and order me to the home because they wanted to check it out. They'd already been in the home several times, so I don't know what they wanted to check it out. But they rounded up 2 code enforcement, 2 uniformed policemen, 3 social workers, 5 firemen, and then the detective that followed me and ordered me home. I did not know about my constitutional civil rights. For all you out there, do not open your home to anybody. Your home is your castle. Think of medieval times. When the drawbridge is up, you can't get in the castle. It's very difficult. Well, that's what your home is. So when your door's closed and someone comes a knocking, be quiet. Listen, but be quiet. Because you don't know if that's a person with a loaded gun that's going to kill you on the spot, which has just happened to a couple in Minnesota, and another couple were, I guess, survived, I guess. Or the black airman in Gainesville, Florida, shot 5 times in the chest when he opened the door while he's talking to his fiance on FaceTime and died on the phone. Died on the phone. Yes, they fired the Gainesville policeman because he had the wrong place for domestic violence. But that's not going to bring back the life. Or the mother that was in an argument with an LA County sheriff and his deputy, and he shot her 5 times in the face. Yes, he's removed. The deputy stood there, did nothing. Did nothing. He offered a first aid kit. The sheriff said, "Oh, that woman's dead as a doornail." I'm telling you, do not open the door. It's too dangerous. You don't need to. You don't need to. And furthermore, you don't need to talk to police or social workers. The only reason why police come with social workers is to protect the social workers from getting hurt. Also, they can serve warrants. Sheriffs can serve warrants. And warrants is the only way, well, one of 3 ways they get in your home is a warrant. And that's a court ordered documentation that has to be properly signed by a judge and then stamped by the court clerk. And it's got to be filled out properly with the right dates and the information. Be very careful because CPS uses bogus warrants and they can't serve the warrant. Only the sheriff can. So you have to be careful. That's my rule number 3. It started in 2019 when my 1-year-old twins were taken. Oh, Aaron, I'm so sorry. Aaron from Tennessee is talking about her case. And Dorothy's reemphasizing what I'm talking about, which I thank her very much for doing that. Now we have about 15 minutes left before I have to end my podcast. It goes for 1 hour at 11 o'clock. Now, to get in your home, you either got to let them in or a family member let them in. You have to let them in. I mean, you don't have to, but that's one way they get in when someone lets them in. And when they get in, they think they can search the house and take your child. So you don't want to do that. The second way is that if there's danger going on, if they're screaming with children, they will break the door down. They'll break the door down. And third, they have to have a warrant. But if you don't see the warrant, then you don't have to let them in. You'll eventually see the warrant. You'll eventually talk to them because you're going to get an attorney. That's your message that, I bring in an attorney. Because you need an attorney to face them. You're going to be eaten alive. They're very corrupt. They do lie. They're very corrupt and they do lie. Now, Erin is talking about her 1-year-old twins. She also has a son who's 16 months and he was taken. So the 1-year-old twins and the 16 months, I'm totally confused now. You have 16 months, that's a little over 1 year. So what's the age between the twins and your son? Or all three of them were taken at once? Anyway, I'm trying to help out Aaron from Tennessee. Aaron, if you'd like to call in and talk about your case, you're welcome to. I'd love to hear from you. I don't bite, and sometimes talking helps you out. But we have Aaron, a new person from Tennessee who needs help. And I want to help you, Aaron. I know how hard it is going through it. What's so remarkable about Aaron from Tennessee is that she's the same age as my firstborn. And she was born 30 days later than my firstborn, on June 2nd. And my daughter was born on May 2nd. That is so freaky. Wow. Anyway, Aaron, I bet you're beautiful. So, okay, something happened on July 27th, 2020. That's 5 years ago. During my case with my twins, I experienced a pandemic shutting down most places to complete my assessments and classes unless I was patient before COVID. The termination for the twins was filed 5 years ago. Oh my goodness. You mean you had a TPR? I hope you appealed. Did you have an attorney, Aaron? Because once it is terminated, you won't see your twins until they're 18. You have to wait till they're 18. That's terrible. That's terrible, Aaron. That's wrong that you're going through that, Aaron. Oh boy. Did you have an attorney, Aaron, or did you use the CPS's court-appointed attorney, their public defender. Wow. Erin says she had a paid attorney and completed everything. I was supposed to complete my case. A worker lied on the stand and said I hadn't completed anything. My paid attorney had all certificates of completion. This is sad. My appeals attorney said he sent the notice of appeal to via regular mail, not certified, a week before it was due. He called the day after and they did receive the notice of appeal. Well, first of all, that attorney is bad because you never send things. Usually you have them served in purpose or delivered in purpose. In purpose. You need a receipt, something of that important. That system there is very corrupt in Tennessee. And I can't understand. You paid for an attorney. That attorney didn't sound like he or she was doing a good job, Aaron. Oh boy. Oh God, Aaron. Well, you can do a civil lawsuit against both attorneys. You can do one, I don't know if it's the same attorney or different attorneys for neglect. And by the way, Dorothy Cook, her name is Erin. Aaron, not Aaron. That's a clever way of spelling Aaron, by the way. And you guys probably want to know why I chose the name Aaron for my firstborn. I used to watch a show called Buck Rogers, the 25th Century. And there was a cute girl there. Her name was Erin Gray. She played, I forgot what her name was on the Buck Rogers 25th Century. But that's why I named my daughter Erin. That and because my wife has Irish in her, and Erin is an Irish name. That's the story of Erin. Yes, she appealed her case, but the appeal that she turned in, they said they never got it in time. The attorney was taken to the Supreme Court for not doing his job. He was either debarred or something. I don't know what it was. But that's terrible, Aaron. That is terrible. We have about 8 minutes left before my show time is over. I agree. and it's Erin. It's Aaron, Dorothy. Now, when I type, it goes to all the rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms, 8 rooms. I have 7 Facebook rooms and 1 YouTube room. No problem, Dorothy. No problem. This is all family in here. And Aaron's part of my family now. The second Aaron. You don't know how special that name Aaron is. And I want to help you, Aaron. Um, I think what happened to your son? Now, you talk about your twins. Did you lose your son too? Do you have termination rights of your son, Aaron? Did you lose all 3 children? You lose all 3 children. Okay, you're still fighting to get custody back of your son, but you lost your twins. I would sue CPS too. I would sue CPS for lying. If you had the certificates, you can file a 388 motion and have in 30 days present it to a new judge. You need to get a new judge. It's wrong what you did. If you have the certificates and the dates of the certificates are valid and you did everything in your case plan and the social worker lied on the stand, that social worker has committed perjury. And if she's committed perjury, all you have to do is you can show that. You can file a lawsuit against that social worker for lying under oath. She lied. That social worker lied. And you can have a civil lawsuit in amounts of millions of dollars against that agency. And that regards your twins. Your son is a separate case, so you don't have to worry. Your son is a separate case, so you don't have to worry. There you go. You can sue the judge. You can sue a judge. You can debar the attorneys. You go to the Tennessee State Capitol and go to the state bar, and you can have those attorneys. You can file a complaint against those attorneys, and you can file a complaint against the judge. So if the judge was malpractice, okay, uh, you can sue. You can do civil lawsuits. And my attorney will do civil lawsuits. He'll come to Tennessee. I just gave a quote, 2 quotes. One to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. It was $125,000 for retainer. And the other one is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for a double case for 125,000. And that is for the license in that state to practice law. Also, it's for the air transportation and the ground transportation, and then the uh, the thieves to fight them. So I'm telling you. So anyway, we have about 2 minutes left, so I got to wrap up the show right now. I have to wrap up the show. But Aaron, you don't be a stranger. I'm on again tonight at 7 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. In Tennessee, that'd be 10 p.m. I'm on twice a day. And hello, Tony the Tiger. I'm glad you came in at 10:58. We do care about you, Tony. I care. You don't believe how many people in this room I care about. I prayed tonight. I love you all. You're all part of my family. Tony, who is Cassandra from Boston-Nago, New York, who has a son kept under drugs who's 13 years old. I know what you're going through. I care about you all the time. It's just that the attorneys out there are bad. I know that. I understand, Tony. It's too late for me right now to talk. That doesn't mean we can't talk later tonight at 7 p.m. But I do have to go. Thank you, Tony, for being here and that you're okay. I know you're not okay what you're going through. Thank you, Dorothy Cook from North Carolina. Thank you, Aaron from Tennessee. And who else I left out here? I think that was it. And thank you for all my listeners. And thank you very much for the Dorothy for the emojis. Thumbs up. That's really great. Oh, Nadir Sagasia, thank you wherever you're from. I have no idea where you're from. I think you're from a country, and I'm not sure. You may be from Indonesia. I don't know. But anyway, thank you all. I'm going to be on again tonight. Please keep fighting for your children. Do not give up. Do not give up. Do not give up. So this was saying is I want you to have a good day. God bless you. And there'll be a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis. Please listen. Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last one.